I think that's a sign I should not do that again. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is a video about essentials that you should have as a Christian, boy / girl, any Christian, any type of Christian you are, you need this stuff in your life. I'm telling you. Number 1, a Bible. It's kind of a beginner's Bible, but I like it. Honestly, whatever type of Bible suits you. I don't really feel like you should feel pressured to have, you know, the Bibles with really small writing and ancient history, because that's what adults have, or that's what matured Christians have. I like my simple New Living Translation youth Bible. It's a youth Bible because it literally gives you like topics, and it tells you where in the Bible you can read about those topics. For example, abortion, addiction, anger, death, creation, depression, discouragement. You get the drift. So it gives you literally those headings, and it tells you like places in the Bible you can find stories or verses to do with that. The reason I think it's important to have a physical Bible, now I know that you can get the Bible on your phone and all of this, but the reason I feel like you need a physical Bible, the phone is not tangible enough for me. Like, we read everything on our phones nowadays. Emails, gossip, we read the newspaper, we scroll on the TL, we read tweets. And I feel like when you read something on your phone, it's just not as real. It's not as much of a big deal because we read everything on our phone. Like with me, when I read texts or emails or something, I just scan through them quickly. Like, I just look through them quickly, scan the words. Like, I don't really take in what I'm reading or anything like that. When I read the Bible on my phone, I find it's the exact same thing. I don't read it properly. I just scan, scroll quickly. I just treat it like how I treat any other text on my phone. I know that's not a good thing, but I'm being real. That's how I feel like when I read the Bible on my phone. So you need a tangible Bible so that you can read it and really take it in. Another reason, the highlighting. Do you not just love and enjoy the process of actually highlighting like the Bible and your favorite verses? Now, Bible paper, biblical paper, is so thin. In every Bible I've ever come across, the paper is just thin and flimsy, so when you highlight, it goes straight through. Now, I know online you can buy specific Bible highlighters that are literally made for Bibles so that they don't seep through to the other side and like leak onto the next page or whatever. Me personally, I didn't buy them just because they're expensive. Ain't nobody got time for that. However, what I do have is pastel highlighters. So I have little highlighters like this. They're like pen highlighters, and they're quite light, so they don't go through the page. In my Bible, they have it. Also, do you know Post-it notes? You know these little ones? You can see it. Those Post-it notes are so good. I literally put them places I need to read in my Bible. You can even just get little Post-it notes like that. Now this is a bit like a devotional. You can get devotionals online. You can get big ones, small ones, yearly ones, devotionals that are specific to like loss or encouragement or leaning on the Lord. Like, there's so many. They're just daily things you can read, and they'll normally give you like a passage, a scenario. In the description I'll put some links to some of them below. Sermon notebooks. Now these are treasures. You know when you're in sermons and you're like, oh, that's so good, but then when you get home you literally can't remember what it was about. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got date, the title of the sermon, the date, the place, the speaker, the title of the sermon verses that were mentioned from, oh my gosh, my nails aren't done, yikes, and space for all of the notes that you've taken from the service. It is so good. I think they were like £4. There's so many different designs on the front as well. There's not just girly ones, but I just wanted some pretty like flowery ones, wanted some cute ones. So they, I would say, are a necessity, because again, otherwise writing things on your notes, I don't know about everyone else, I have like 500 notes pages on my phone and I don't read them. That is all laid out clearly, everything set, like date, title, place, speakers, verses, notes, So yeah, that's what you really want in your life. And it's just a normal journal. I can't express to you the importance of a normal journal. Like, my peoples, I've got business plans, letters to God, letters to myself, prayers, verses, drawings, YouTube ideas. I've got everything and anything in this book. You might say, why is this like a Christian essential? But trust me, being able to get everything that you want out onto a piece of paper, sometimes that's such a relief. Like, you don't need to go gossiping to your friends or to your family. Before, I was like a really closed person, and I'd write like everything I felt in this book, and it would make me feel better. Like, I wouldn't need to speak to anyone about it, do you know what I mean? So I recommend getting a positive one and a negative one, and trying to make sure that you write more in the positive one than the negative one. So what I now do is that every time I write something negative in my journal, my diary, I go and write like 2 positive things in my positive one, just to make sure that we're always staying grateful and like staying feeling blessed, because ultimately blessings always outweigh the bad things. It's just sometimes the bad things are so prominent and in our face and difficult and rare that they overshine the blessings. So really, because the blessings are so common, and they might be small things, but they're still blessings. Like, even just being grateful for having a roof over your head, food on the table, like friends around you, family around you, whatever it is. Even just to look back sometimes, like sometimes I look back and I read this and I see the days I was really, really down and really sad, and I'm like, wow, look how far I've come. Like, now I'm so full of joy all the time. I'm happy, like I'm having a good day. Look what God has delivered me from. Look how I felt then compared to now. Prayer journal. I got too many of these. But anyway, the reason that this is so important is because we are gotta pray. And I think sometimes we pray and we forget what we've prayed for. We forget what we're praying about, or we don't realise that our prayers have been answered. My main reason for this is to keep track of things that I'm praying for. Sometimes I look back at my prayers and I'm like, wow, God actually answered this and I didn't even realise. Like, look at my life now, or look at this person's life now. Like, you know, when you pray for other people and you write it down and then you see their life transform, sometimes it might not be the case that he's answered it yet, but you might have given up on something that you were praying for, and you might look back and see, oh, you were praying for this, and it might remind you that you should start praying for things. Because sometimes just because we don't have the answer or we don't get the answer we want doesn't mean we should stop praying for it. Like, you could be one prayer away from a breakthrough, so keep praying. Last but not least, Christian books. Now, these I read now more than I ever have before, and the majority of books I read are Christian books, just because they really help you to get that understanding. I have a whole pile of Christian books like this long, so just look for them online. Good authors are like Timothy Keller, Bob, what's his name? I'm literally so bad with names. But so that is my basics to a guide of what a typical Christian should have in their walk with Jesus and their walk with faith. Trust me, these things will come in handy, and once you get in the habit of using them, it won't feel like a chore to go write in your prayer journal. Or like, sometimes I think, a lot of the time actually, I forget to like write my prayers down or write in my journal, but when I do, I feel so much better for it. So it's just about making a habit of things and actually using them. And yeah,
kid, pray when life is crazy, kid. Pray. Had an unexpected baby, kid. Pray.